If the news has felt like too much lately, too long, too loud, too overwhelming, this is your sign to do it differently this new year. I'm Erica Mandy, host of the Newsworthy podcast. Each weekday, I break down the day's top stories in less than 15 minutes, giving you the facts, multiple perspectives, and even some lighter conversation starters, so you're not bogged down by arguing pundits or alarmist clickbait. It's a simple, efficient way to stay informed, feel confident, and move on with your day. Search The Newsworthy wherever you're listening to this podcast and follow or subscribe to The Newsworthy today.
Here we go now.
Welcome to the Solo Promoter Podcast, the show that is one guy talking about tabletop pro wrestling and fighting games completely solo. This includes Filsinger Games, Legends of Wrestling, Champions of the Galaxy, Go Fight Pow, The Squared Circle, and much more. Welcome to the show. I am that one guy. My name is Grant Bachoco, and this is episode number 110. Now, before we get into things, we want to thank, as we always do, the incredible members of the Golden Circle. These are the fine folks who support all the podcasts and videos and all the other crazy stuff that I do every month, and it's a huge shout out to them for helping us make these videos and these audios possible. If you want to find out more about the Golden Circle, head on over to solopromoter.com on your desktop computer. That'll take you to our YouTube page, and then you just click the join button right there. Before we get going with the main topic, I want to give just a couple quick updates. There's not much. I'm actually recording this episode on the heels of recording the last episode, which we'll talk about here in just a second. So there actually hasn't been any tabletop playing at all. There's been some unboxings and things like that, but they're not wrestling games. So we won't go into it too much here because this podcast is really about wrestling games. Filsinger Games released on New Year's, it was New Year's Eve for me, but on New Year's Day on the East Coast, their 40th anniversary logo. I really, really liked it. I think it's very fitting. I guess Tom Rickert did the artwork, so that is really awesome. And here we go, 40th anniversary of Filsinger Games. So going to be a heck of a year, and I would expect to see that logo on a shirt or something here very, very soon. I also love that Filsinger Games is starting with sort of the promotion and teasers, not teasers, but sort of the promotion right at the start of the year. So maybe we'll see more regular updates to filsingergames.com and just more regular updates to things instead of just certain times a year when it's teaser season. Maybe we'll see a new article every week or something like that on the website. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's only been one day. It's still the first day, so it's not even 24 hours since they posted that teaser. But and it's not a teaser, that logo. But very excited to see what is coming on. I do want to say thank you to everybody who left feedback, and I got a ton of feedback on the last episode number 109, my 4 hopes for Filsinger Games in 2026. A lot of discussion about AI. I want to make it very, very clear, and just in case it was not clear in that episode, I am not saying that Filsinger Games has used AI. I am not saying that they are planning to use AI. My hope was simply that they never use AI. So that's all I was saying in that. And it was, I framed everything as these are my hopes for the new year. And I hope that AI isn't even in the discussion. As I said, there was some wondering, some speculation on whether or not some of the backgrounds have been AI on certain cards. There has never been any sort of announcement, pro, con, whatever, from Filsinger Games about that. There was just, as I said, there was speculation. And as far as Filsinger Games actually using AI, I'm just saying I hope they don't. I was actually very, very excited to see that when the logo came out, because there was a part of me like, oh no, is this going to be AI? That it was not, and it was Tom Rickert, and I love that. And I'm not talking doom and gloom about Filsinger Games because I love Filsinger Games. I'm just saying there was a little part of me of like, what if this is going to be AI, and it wasn't. So there you go. Also, upgraded packaging. A lot of people reached out to me about the rubber band things. There was a couple people who were like, "I don't understand what you're talking about," and that's fine. You don't have to understand what I'm talking about. But it's a collectible card game, and the rubber bands ruin the cards. I said it before, will say it again, and we need upgraded packaging. So hopefully that will be one of those updates that they post, that upgraded packaging is a thing going forward, because it just should be. All right, let's get to the main topic. And here is the main topic. I'm recording this on January 1st, 2026. This is the top 5 wrestling game releases for 2025. That's right. I waited till the year was officially over to give my top 5. Now, I do want to say that this is based on my preferences and what actually made it to the game table. So it's not necessarily based on names. When I'm talking about Legends things, it's talking about what was released that made me excited to play the game. So that's what we're going to look at here, and that is what comprises. That was sort of the criteria that went into my top 5. First of all, we are going to start in the tradition of the mighty uncharted territory, the granddaddy. Well, yeah, I guess the granddaddy. I think Mark Ashby's podcast would be the great granddaddy of wrestling game podcasts. And then the granddaddy of podcasts, Uncharted Territory, I'm going to have an honorable mention. Now, I will say I do not play a lot of the Phil Singer Games Indies line, and I do buy the Promoter Prime because I'm buying Champions of the Galaxy and Legends, and so by that point, might as well just buy the Indies version to get that sort of package deal of all 3 of them. So I do get those cards, and I did buy the Indie starter set that was released earlier this year. But my honorable mention is going to go to the Tim Storm Indies card. Now, we did get a Tim Storm Galacticon exclusive back in July. But the one I am talking about right here is the Tim Storm Indies card that was released here with the winter releases. That's more of his, I think, the bulk of his career, and definitely the way I saw him wrestle when he came through Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, when they were working with the NWA, and we had Nick Aldis and Tim Storm there. So I wanted to shout out Zeke and the rest of the Indies crew for the Tim Storm Indies card, and it's something that when I get into a more regular playing schedule, which is going to be my one of my goals for 2026, he is somebody who will definitely come through Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. So that is my honorable mention, the Tim Storm Indies card. Here we go, number 5. This list was difficult. This year, but I'm standing by my choices. Number 5. Early Classics 2077. That's right. GWF Champions of the Galaxy Early Classics 2077. And really, the number one reason why this is my number 5 pick and why this is on the list is because we got Daryl Banks back doing the art. No offense to any other artists, but Daryl Banks, that first Early Classic set with the Banks artwork is just so great, and it was so great to have him return to Early Classics. And I hope that Daryl Banks is part of Early Classics going forward. There's some really fun artwork here. I'm not 100% behind like the adding the new characters, but I get it. I totally get it. And one of my favorite pieces of art in the set is Namek. I think that is one of that's a great Daryl Banks drawing. I'm very excited to play this. I have them all scanned in. Now, I have played up to 2079, so I kind of I don't need to roll out some matches right now with these cards, but I think what I'm going to do soon is go back, and for these characters like Major Raccoon and Namek and the other sort of newer names that have been added to the list, I'm going to go back and add matches from them on my cards, on my previous cards. So very excited for Early Classics 2077, and excited to see, hopefully, Daryl Banks continuing with Early Classics going forward. And we're getting very close to where I will be able to get all the cards out on my game table and start playing again. One question I do have, and I guess I could have Mike on to ask him this question, is the Mangus card, which everybody loves, and me too. The artwork is incredible. Mangus was, his card was in Early Classics 2079. So what I'm wondering is he going to, is this the Mangus card that is that 2079 card, or should we expect an upgrade or a new card, not necessarily upgrade, a new card in 2079? Because I don't know if I can replace my card in my sets, because even though I'm not playing on the game table with these sets right now, I am replacing the cards as they come out. But I don't know if I should replace the Mangus, the old blue and white Mangus card, with this new one, or if I should just wait. So there you go. That's my question about Early Classics 2077, my number 5 pick. Number 4, we are headed over to the Squared Circle. The Squared Circle had a release. It was the long-awaited classic New York 1970 to 1983 game edition. And I gotta say, this game edition got me back into playing Squared Circle. I had kind of put it aside because the Memphis book, well, I love Memphis. Well, actually, I love Memphis as a territory more than I love classic New York, 1970 to 1983. I know, blasphemy. But the charts in the Memphis book, in terms of television, the TV tapings, which are such a huge part of Memphis. I mean, TV tapings are always a huge part, but especially in Memphis, those TV tapings every Saturday were such a huge part, and it just seemed super, super repetitive every time. And it could just be I had bad streak of luck with the dice, but it seemed that every time I rolled on those television charts, it was just the same outcome every single time. So it kind of soured me a little bit on the Squared Circle, and I had put it away. But when this book came out, the classic New York 1970 to 1983 hardcover book, when I got that in the mail and I got the PDF, it got me back into playing the Squared Circle because I wasn't dealing with those television charts. And there are some new things in here, like he's laying the groundwork for Blood, because I think the next game edition that ST Patrick is going to do is ECW, which not my thing really at all. But so he's kind of laying the groundwork for Blood. So there were some characters, not characters, but some wrestlers here who have, or there's like triggers for Blood and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, this just got me back into straight playing Squared Circle, with no fancy charts, no extras, just having good old wrestling matches. And I'm excited actually to get it back out on the table again. So number 4, Squared Circle, Classic New York, 1970 to 1983. All right, moving on. My number 3 choice, even though last week I talked on and on and on and on and on about how the roster was too big for Champions of the Galaxy and GWF, my number 3 choice is Myth Worlds 2. I'm loving the characters. Kental is one of my favorite characters to come on in a long time. And I hope he is somebody that gets a long run, whether the GWF continues in Myth Worlds or whether it goes back to the regular universe in 2140. But I love Kental, one of my favorite characters. I think when I interviewed Tom here on the podcast, I said that he's sort of that, in those old Westerns, there would be the main bad guy, but there'd always be like kind of his crazy sidekick who was even more dangerous. And that's kind of how I see Kental. And that's how I'm playing him in my thing. I thought, pretty strong characters throughout. No, some of them we knew were coming in. Heracles coming back. That's all right. Him and Thor really haven't done a lot in my Fed. But excited to use the Jade Emperor more. But yeah, definitely Kental. And the artwork on Kental. Daryl Banks, Artist of the Year, ladies and gentlemen. Just by a hair over Werner Meek. Daryl Banks, great artwork, and especially that Kental. Kental is one of those cards where just seeing the artwork the stats could be whatever the stats are. Just seeing the artwork makes me want to play the game. And so Kental seals the deal and makes the Myth Worlds 2 Game Edition from Champions of the Galaxy, Filsinger Games, my number 3 choice. Moving on to number 2, and we have a tie. But this tie is from the same company, and that is Go Fight Pow. I'm a huge Go Fight Pow fan here, and the tie is between the Fight Pass for 2025 and the Go Fight Pow Blast Friday releases. Instead of Black Friday, they did Blast Friday. And let me just say, Go Fight Pow delivers the fun. It's a quick, easy game with so many cards to collect. I finally completed my collection this year. I got the last couple cards I need to have them all, and I'm very excited about that. I love the Blast Friday releases. They were all fantastic. And really, I think if I really had to pick, I might go with Fight Pass. The reason I love the Blast Friday releases were we got them days after ordering them, which I said that in the unboxing video, and it was just absolutely bananas that we ordered them, and then I think we ordered them on Friday, which was the Friday before Thanksgiving, and then I think I did the unboxing on, I want to say it was Tuesday, but it might have even been Monday. I'd have to go back and look. So Blast Friday got a huge pump up from me just simply because the cards arrived so dang quick. So a big thank you to Eric over at Go Fight Pow. And the cards arrived in fantastic shape. They're in putted mailer. Very, very rarely have I had a disappointing shipment from Go Fight Pow. But the Fight Pass is so much fun. Getting new cards every month, getting bonus cards that you didn't know that you were going to get. Just so much fun. It really, it harkens back to that old sending away for things and then getting them in the mail. And you know that if you sign up for Fight Pass, you will get it. You will get something every month. And it's just fantastic. So we have a tie for number 2, the Go Fight Pow Fight Pass 2025. Some amazing characters in there. And then the Blast Friday releases, just some super fun stuff. Always love getting Go Fight Pow on the game table. All right, here we go. It's time for number 1. Here we go. Now, this was hard. This is hard. We're going back to Filsinger Games, and I will tell you it's going to be a Legends release for Filsinger Games. We had a lot of good stuff for Legends this year. A lot of good stuff. We had the Tragos Thez set. We had the Cauliflower Alley Club set. We had Legends 13. But I am going to pick for number 1. I'm not going to pick any of those. I am going to pick Legends of Wrestling from Filsinger Games Promoter Prime 2025. That was my favorite Legends release of the year. Giant Baba, come on. We got Len Denton and Grappler 2, so we could form 2 other tag teams with Dirty White Boy and the Grappler. So that was awesome. We got not 1, but 2 Ray Trailer personalities. Big Bubba Rogers, who is now my HEW World Champion. And, of course, Big Boss Man, legendary right there. But my Filsinger Games card of the year went to Stan Stasiak. I did not know, I'd heard the name. I didn't know much about him. When he came out, I started watching him. Absolutely love him. He is on a tear in my Portland Fed. And, getting his son, Sean Stasiak, is fun too. But Stan the Man Stasiak. And I know everybody wants to use Abdullah Farouk with the Sheik. But using Abdullah Farouk with Stan Stasiak is something that is very much in my future. I don't know if Abdullah Farouk will be coming into Portland. Maybe he will. But right now, I'm just loving seeing how Stan Stasiak is doing by himself. I will keep saying thank you. I love that Filsinger Games gave us an updated card that was corrected. So huge shout out to them for doing that. They didn't have to. Very glad that they did. And all of that, the names, just a huge list of names. I mean, Giant Baba, come on. I know people just freak out about that. But for me, it was Stan Stasiak. It was Abdullah Farouk. Abdullah Farouk also very, very pivotal in the early days of my black and white tabletop game, Legends game. So very excited to have him in color. And just a great list of names there. And that's why Legends of Wrestling Promoter Prime 2025 from Filsinger Games is my number one wrestling game release of 2025. And so let's recap just super quick. My honorable mention, Tim Storm's indie card. Number 5 was Champions of the Galaxy Early Classics 2077. Gotta love that Daryl Banks art. Number 4 was Squared Circle, the classic New York 1970-1983 edition. Just fun stuff. Got me back into playing Squared Circle. Myth Worlds 2 from Filsinger Games, the Champions of the Galaxy main game edition. Just one of my favorite characters of recent times in there, Ken Tall, and just a great art on that set. For number 2, the tie, Go Fight Pow, Blast Friday releases, and the Fight Pass 2025. Super excited to see what's going to be coming this year from Go Fight Pow. We've got the big Kickstarter coming. We're going to be opening up more packs on the channel, and I'm very, very excited about that. And number 1, the Legends of Wrestling Promoter Prime 2025 from Filsinger Games. And it was a tough field of which game edition to pick, but I gotta go with Promoter Prime because they really knocked it out of the park this year. So, do you agree or disagree? I would love to know your top 5 total game releases of the year. You can add them to the comments wherever you heard this episode. And speaking of this episode, that's going to do it for this episode. If you have a topic you'd like the show to cover, you can leave it in the comments. Make sure to subscribe or follow wherever you're listening to this. You can check out my personal wrestling feds at gwfpromoter.com and lowpromoter.com. Thanks again to the Golden Circle channel members. Golden Circle channel members get a video of the recording of these podcast episodes, and the moment I'm done recording this episode, I stop the video and I upload it to YouTube for them to see. So they're going to see this episode over a week before it comes out. So big thank you again to the Golden Circle channel members. You can head over to solopromoter.com and click the join button for more information. The theme song is American Guy by Throwing Toasters, used by permission and available on Apple Music, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your music. Actually, don't go to Spotify. This podcast is not affiliated in any way with any gaming company or their subsidiaries. It's purely for entertainment purposes. This episode is copyright 2026, Saturday Morning Media, Grant Pachoco, executive producer, all rights reserved. www.saturdaymorningmedia.com.